Honey, I'm sorry you can't quit the doorman job.
Remember when TV networks genuinely thought they had the magic formula all figured out? Well, 1990 proved them spectacularly, hilariously wrong. While America was still busy debating whether the internet was just a passing fad and New Kids on the Block would last forever, network executives were confidently greenlighting shows with huge budgets, major star power, and massive expectations that would crash and burn faster than a Yugo speeding straight down the freeway. Today we're diving deep into 15 forgotten flops from 1990. Catastrophic failures that bombed so hard even Wikipedia barely remembers they existed. Number 15. Brewster Place.
I just want to know, when is somebody going to...
Landing at number 15, we have Brewster Place, Oprah Winfrey's attempt to conquer primetime television before she became the queen of daytime. Based on Gloria Naylor's novel, The Women of Brewster Place, which Oprah had turned into a successful miniseries in 1989, this seemed like a sure thing. Oprah was already a household name, the source material was critically acclaimed, and ABC put it in a decent time slot. The show followed the lives of women living in a housing project, tackling serious issues like poverty, domestic violence, and racism. On paper, it was groundbreaking. In reality, it was a mess. The problem wasn't the subject matter, or even the acting. The problem was that ABC wanted Oprah to be in every episode, but Oprah was simultaneously running her daily talk show, which was exploding in popularity. She couldn't be in two places at once, and it showed. Episodes were uneven. Sometimes Oprah's character, Maddie Michael, was front and center. Other times she'd barely appear, leaving viewers confused about who the main character actually was. The show tried to balance being an ensemble drama, while also being the Oprah show, and it failed at both. Behind the scenes, there were creative clashes about tone. Should it be an inspiring uplift drama or a hard-hitting expose of inner-city life? The show never figured it out. ABC canceled Brewster Place after just 11 episodes, though they'd filmed more. Oprah quickly pivoted, focusing entirely on her talk show, which turned out to be a pretty good career move. She went on to build a media empire, launch a book club that could make bestsellers overnight, and basically become one of the most influential people on the planet. So yeah, she recovered just fine from this flop. But for fans who tuned in expecting the magic of the mini-series, Brewster Place remains a disappointing what could have been. Number 14. The Bradies.
But there are other things in life just as important.
Coming in at number 14 is The Bradies, CBS's attempt to bring back one of TV's most beloved families, except this time with drama, angst, and storylines that made viewers wish Mike and Carol had just stayed in syndication. The original Brady Bunch ran from 1969 to 1974 and became a cultural touchstone. By 1990, nostalgia was at an all-time high. The cast had done reunion specials, TV movies, and even a short-lived variety show. CBS thought, why not bring them back as a serious hour-long drama? Spoiler alert, this was not a good idea. The Bradies premiered in February of 1990. And instead of the lighthearted family comedy viewers expected, they got Bobby in a wheelchair after a racing accident, Marcia dealing with alcoholism, and Jan struggling with an unfulfilling marriage. It was like the network took everything warm and comforting about the Brady Bunch and replaced it with after-school special trauma. The tonal whiplash was severe. Here's the thing, the cast was game. They all returned, Florence Henderson, Robert Reed, and all 6 kids, now adults. They were committed to making it work. But asking audiences to suddenly care about Greg's business problems or Cindy's identity crisis was like asking people who loved ice cream sundaes to get excited about kale smoothies. Technically healthier, sure, but nobody asked for it. The show lasted 6 episodes before CBS pulled the plug. 6 episodes. That's less time than it takes most shows to find their footing. The network didn't even bother airing the final episode initially. It just disappeared, leaving storylines unresolved and actors unemployed. The cast went back to the Brady reunion circuit, occasionally popping up for more TV movies and specials. The Bradys became a cautionary tale about messing with a formula that worked. Sometimes you don't need to reinvent the wheel. Sometimes the wheel is fine, just rolling along in syndication, making everyone happy. Number 13. Sydney.
Your safety and sending you out to do it.
At number 13, we have Sydney, a show that asked the question nobody was asking. What if we took Valerie Bertinelli, fresh off her beloved run on One Day at a Time, and put her in a generic private detective show? CBS thought this was brilliant. Viewers thought otherwise. Sydney premiered in March of 1990, positioning itself as a fun, lighthearted mystery show. Bertinelli played Sydney Kells, a private investigator working for her brother's firm, while also being a single mom. The show wanted to be Moonlighting meets Murphy Brown, giving us a strong female lead who could crack cases and crack jokes. What we got instead was paint-by-numbers plotting and mysteries that were less whodunit and more who cares. The chemistry wasn't there. Bertinelli had charm, she always did. But the supporting cast felt like they'd been assembled from a factory that produced generic TV cops. Her TV brother, played by Matthew Perry before Friends made him a superstar, had zero presence. The cases were boring, the jokes fell flat, and the single mom angle felt tacked on, like the writers remembered halfway through the pilot that they needed to give Sydney some depth. Behind the scenes, there were conflicts about the show's direction. CBS wanted it lighter. The producers wanted it edgier. Bertinelli just wanted good scripts. She got none of those things. The show limped through 13 episodes before CBS mercifully canceled it, freeing Bertinelli to pursue other projects and leaving Matthew Perry to eventually find his way to Central Perk. In retrospect, Sydney is barely a footnote in Bertinelli's career. She went on to do Touched by an Angel, wrote best-selling memoirs, and became a Food Network personality. The show is so forgotten that even die-hard Valerie Bertinelli fans struggle to remember it existed. It's the TV equivalent of a placeholder, something that filled a time slot until better ideas came along. Number 12, Baghdad Cafe.
Surely you jest.
Number 12 brings us Baghdad Cafe, a sitcom adaptation of the quirky German film that absolutely nobody needed or wanted. CBS looked at a small, artistic foreign film about unlikely friendship at a desert truck stop and thought, perfect. Let's make this a multi-camera sitcom with a laugh track. What could possibly go wrong? Everything went wrong. The original 1987 film worked because of its understated charm, beautiful cinematography, and the subtle performances of Marianne Sajbrecht and CCH Pounder. It was weird, wonderful, and completely unmarketable to mainstream American audiences. The TV version tried to sand off all the interesting edges and turn it into a standard fish-out-of-water sitcom. Whoopi Goldberg took over CCH Pounder's role as Brenda, the cafe owner, which should have been a selling point. Whoopi was hot off Sister Act and in high demand. But even her star power couldn't save a show that felt like it was having an identity crisis every week. Was it a quirky ensemble comedy, a culture clash sitcom, a workplace show? The writers never decided, so audiences never connected. The setting, a rundown truck stop cafe in the Mojave Desert, offered potential for interesting characters: truckers, drifters, locals, tourists. Instead, we got stereotypes and predictable plots. The magic of the film, that indefinable quality that made it special, was completely absent. It was like trying to bottle lightning and ending up with tap water. CBS canceled Baghdad Cafe after 2 seasons, though calling it 2 seasons is generous. They aired episodes sporadically, clearly having no faith in the product. Hoppy moved on to bigger and better things, including The View and a continued film career. The show vanished so completely that most people don't even realize it existed, and honestly, that's probably for the best. Number 11, Ferris Bueller.
Stand there! Call the police! My car was stolen!
At number 11, we have Ferris Bueller, NBC's attempt to capture the magic of John Hughes's beloved film and turn it into a weekly sitcom. This is the kind of decision that sounds good after too many drinks at a network lunch, but falls apart the moment anyone thinks about it for more than 5 seconds. The 1986 film worked because it was a perfect contained story. One day of freedom, one adventure, one journey of self-discovery. It was lightning in a bottle. NBC's bright idea was to make that happen every single week. Ferris skipping school, pulling elaborate schemes, outwitting Principal Rooney. Except, when you do that every week, Ferris stops being a charming rebel and starts being a juvenile delinquent who really needs to attend class. Charlie Schlatter took over Matthew Broderick's role, and to his credit, he tried. He really did. But he wasn't Matthew Broderick, and the show wasn't John Hughes. The chemistry between Ferris, Cameron, and Sloane felt forced. The fourth wall breaking that worked so well in the film became annoying in the show. And Jennifer Aniston, yes, that Jennifer Aniston, played Ferris's sister Jeannie, and even her future star power couldn't save this sinking ship. The show premiered in August of 1990 on NBC, but got moved around so many times viewers couldn't find it even if they wanted to. First Monday nights, then Saturday nights, then back to Monday nights. The network clearly had no confidence in it, and the ratings reflected the lack of faith. NBC canceled it after 13 episodes, with several episodes never even airing in the US. Schlatter continued acting, but never became a household name. Jennifer Aniston, well, she found a little show called Friends a few years later, and did okay for herself. Ferris Bueller, the series became a punchline, a cautionary tale about why some films should just stay films. Number 10, Uncle Buck.
You have a ritual killing?
Number 10 brings us Uncle Buck, another attempt to turn a John Hughes film into a sitcom. Apparently, networks learned nothing from Ferris Bueller. The 1989 film starred John Candy as the lovable mess of a relative who has to babysit his nieces and nephew. It worked because John Candy was a comedy genius, and the film had heart. The TV version, which premiered in September of 1990 on CBS, starred Kevin Meaney as Buck. Now, Meaney was a talented comedian in his own right, but he wasn't John Candy. The show tried to replicate the film's premise, Buck living with his brother's family and causing chaos, but stretched over a full season? The concept wore thin faster than Buck's patience with the kids. The problem with Uncle Buck as a series is the same problem with most film-to-TV adaptations. What works for 90 minutes becomes exhausting at 22 minutes every week. Buck's irresponsible behavior is charming for one film. Week after week, you start wondering why Child Protective Services hasn't shown up. His schemes and mishaps become repetitive. The kids go from cute to annoying. CBS paired Uncle Buck with other struggling shows and moved it around the schedule like they were playing TV Tetris. The ratings never materialized. Critics were brutal, calling it a pale imitation of the film and questioning why it existed at all. CBS canceled it after one season, though they stretched that single season across 2 calendar years, burning off episodes whenever they had empty time slots to fill. Kevin Meaney went back to stand-up comedy and occasional TV appearances. The show was completely forgotten, except by John Hughes completists who watch it out of morbid curiosity. It's another example of Hollywood's belief that anything successful must be franchised, sequelized, or adapted, even when it absolutely shouldn't be. Number 9, Working Girl.
Huge family, all built on trust and...
Coming in at number 9 is Working Girl, NBC's sitcom adaptation of the 1988 film, starring Melanie Griffith, Harrison Ford, and Sigourney Weaver. The film was a Cinderella story about a working-class secretary who outsmarts her evil boss and lands a better job and a better man. It was zeitgeisty, romantic, and perfectly encapsulated 80s ambition. The TV version captured none of that. The show premiered in April of 1990, starring Sandra Bullock in the Melanie Griffith role before Bullock became a movie star. The premise followed Tess McGill navigating the corporate world, dealing with sexism, climbing the ladder, and proving herself. It should have worked. The timing was right. Women in the workplace was a hot topic. Murphy Brown was killing it in the ratings. But Working Girl felt like a cheap knockoff, like buying store-brand cereal and wondering why it doesn't taste the same. Part of the problem was the cast. Not that they were bad, but they had zero chemistry. Tess's relationships with her coworkers felt manufactured. Her romantic entanglements were bland. And without Harrison Ford's charm or Sigourney Weaver's delicious villainy, the show had no stakes. It was just another workplace comedy in a sea of workplace comedies, except less funny and less interesting. NBC buried Working Girl in a terrible time slot, essentially admitting defeat before giving it a real chance. The show lasted 12 episodes before being canceled, with Bullock moving on to a film career that would make her one of Hollywood's biggest stars. Watching Working Girl now is surreal because you're seeing a list talent before they became A-list, stuck in D-list material. Number 8, Hull High.
All right.
I need you to watch me.
At number 8, we have Hull High, and this is where things get really weird. NBC decided that what America wanted in 1990 was a musical dramedy about high school students who randomly break into song. This was decades before Glee made that concept work, and Hull High proved exactly why it took so long for someone to figure out the formula. The show premiered in August of 1990 and was created by Gil Grant, who had worked on successful shows before. The concept was ambitious. A diverse group of high school students at John Hull High School dealing with real issues, teen pregnancy, peer pressure, academic stress, but also spontaneously singing and dancing through the hallways. It was fame meets a fever dream. The execution was catastrophic. The musical numbers felt awkward and forced. The dramatic storylines were too heavy for a show with dance breaks. The comedy undermined the drama. The drama killed the comedy. It was like watching 3 different shows fighting for control of the same airtime, and all 3 losing. Behind the scenes, the budget was reportedly massive for a high school show. Musical productions are expensive. Choreography, original songs, musicians, it all adds up. NBC invested heavily, hoping to create something groundbreaking. Instead, they created something unwatchable. Critics savaged it. Viewers fled. And by October of 1990, after just 8 episodes, Hull High was canceled. The cast, which included several talented young performers, mostly disappeared from the industry. The show became a trivia question, a forgotten oddity. It's the kind of show that makes you wonder what the pitch meeting was like. Did anyone raise their hand and ask if maybe this was a terrible idea? Apparently not. Number 7, Grand.
Beckett and Jerry Lewis and so forth.
Number 7 brings us Grand, NBC's ambitious attempt at a primetime soap opera that tried to be Dynasty for a new generation and failed spectacularly. The show premiered in January of 1990 with a massive marketing campaign and high expectations. Set in the wealthy Harris family's Pennsylvania town, Grand promised intrigue, romance, and scandal. What it delivered was confusion, boring storylines, and characters nobody cared about. The cast was stacked with veterans. Pamela Reed, Bonnie Hunt, John Randolph, and Michael McKean all brought experience and talent, but the scripts were terrible. The show couldn't decide if it wanted to be a comedy or a drama, so it tried to be both and succeeded at neither. Storylines would veer from slapstick humor to serious family drama within the same episode, giving viewers tonal whiplash. NBC scheduled Grand right after the Golden Girls on Saturday nights, hoping to capture that audience. Big mistake. Golden Girls viewers wanted sharp comedy and lovable characters. Grand gave them confused plotting and unmemorable people. The ratings started okay, riding on the Golden Girls lead in, but dropped fast once people realized what they were actually watching. Behind the scenes, there were creative conflicts. The producers kept retooling, changing storylines mid-season, adding and removing characters. It was like watching someone rearrange deck chairs on the Titanic. By April of 1990, after just 18 episodes, NBC canceled Grand. The show ended on a cliffhanger that would never be resolved, leaving the few remaining fans frustrated. The cast moved on to better projects. Bonnie Hunt created and starred in her own sitcom. Michael McKean found success in films and Christopher Guest's mockumentaries. Grand faded into obscurity, remembered only as an example of how not to launch a primetime soap. Number 6, Cop Rock.
I just know that he took out the guy that killed my partner.
At number 6, we have Cop Rock, and if you thought Hull High was weird, buckle up. Stephen Bochco, the genius behind Hill Street Blues and L.A. Law, decided to create a gritty police procedural where cops, criminals, and lawyers solve cases through song and dance. Yes, seriously, this actually happened. ABC premiered Cop Rock in September of 1990 with enormous fanfare. Bochco was TV royalty. The network gave him carte blanche. The budget was reportedly massive, and the concept was absolutely insane. Real crimes, real consequences, but also jazz hands and choreographed musical numbers in the courthouse. The show opened with cops singing about their jobs. Criminals literally sang their confessions. There was a musical number about a death penalty execution. It was surreal, uncomfortable, and utterly baffling. Critics didn't know what to make of it. Some praised its audacity, most called it a train wreck. Viewers hated it almost universally. Week after week, ratings plummeted. The problem wasn't the execution, technically speaking. The musical numbers were well produced. The cast could sing and dance, but nobody wanted to watch criminals croon about their crimes or see police officers debate search and seizure law through song. It was a solution to a problem that didn't exist. Boschko later admitted he thought he could change television. Instead, he created one of TV's most legendary disasters. A BC canceled Cop Rock after 11 episodes, pulling it from the schedule in December. It became an instant punchline, referenced in other shows as the epitome of bad ideas. Boschko bounced back, creating NYPD Blue, which proved he still knew how to make great TV when he wasn't adding musical numbers. But Cop Rock's legacy endures as a fascinating failure, the kind of ambitious swing and miss that you almost have to respect for its sheer audacity. Number 5. Lenny.
Honey, I'm sorry you can't quit the doorman job.
Number 5 brings us Lenny, CBS's attempt to create a vehicle for comedian Lenny Clark, who was moderately popular in the Boston comedy scene. The network looked at Roseanne's success and thought, let's find another blue-collar comedian and build a sitcom around them. The problem was that not every comedian is Roseanne Barr, and not every blue-collar sitcom is Roseanne. Lenny premiered in September of 1990 and starred Clark as a working-class Boston father dealing with family, friends, and life. Sound familiar? It should. It was basically every other family sitcom from that era, except less funny and less original. The show had no unique voice, no interesting perspective. It was a photocopy of a photocopy, each generation losing more detail. Clark was likable enough, but likable doesn't make must-see TV. The supporting cast was forgettable. The storylines were predictable, and the jokes, well, they relied heavily on Boston stereotypes and working-class cliches that felt tired even in 1990. Critics were unanimous in their indifference. Audiences simply didn't show up. CBS scheduled Lenny against tough competition and never bothered to promote it heavily. The network clearly had no faith in the show, which became a self-fulfilling prophecy. Why would viewers seek out a show their own network didn't believe in? By October, after just 4 episodes, CBS pulled Lenny from the schedule. Only 1 episode ever aired. The rest were quietly buried. Lenny Clark continued doing stand-up comedy and character actor work, appearing in films and other TV shows. But his shot at sitcom stardom was over before it really began. Lenny the Show is so obscure that even comprehensive lists of canceled shows sometimes forget to include it. It existed, it flopped, it disappeared. The end. Number 4, The Fanelli Boys.
I had a great time too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Coming in at number 4 is The Fanelli Boys, NBC's attempt to create an Italian-American family sitcom that could compete with The Cosby Show and Roseanne. The show premiered in September of 1990 and followed 4 adult brothers living in Brooklyn, running a family business and dealing with their overbearing mother. It was supposed to be warm, funny, and culturally specific. Instead, it was stereotypical, unfunny, and occasionally offensive. The cast included Joe Pantoliano years before The Sopranos made him a household name, and Christopher Maloney before Law & Order SVU. Both are talented actors who deserve better material. What they got instead were scripts filled with mama's boy jokes, Italian stereotypes, and family dynamics that felt like they'd been copied from every Italian-American movie ever made. The mother character, played by Anne Morgan Gilbert, was written as a domineering matriarch who guilt-tripped her sons and interfered in their lives. Groundbreaking stuff. The brothers had zero chemistry, their conflicts felt manufactured, and the supposed humor came from them yelling at each other in thick Brooklyn accents while eating pasta. It was like the writers had never met an actual Italian-American family and based everything on Goodfellas and The Godfather. NBC paired The Fanelli Boys with other struggling shows and gave it minimal promotion. The ratings were abysmal from the start. Critics called it outdated and criticized its reliance on ethnic stereotypes. By December, after 15 episodes, NBC canceled it. The show disappeared without anyone noticing or caring. Pantoliano and Maloney went on to much better things, proving they had talent that was wasted here. The Fanelli Boys is forgotten even by people who study TV history. It's a relic of a time when networks thought ethnic specificity alone could carry a show, without bothering to write good scripts or develop interesting characters. Number 3, Living Dolls.
Oh yeah, it's me.
Yeah, Miss Sally, you're better.
At number 3, we have Living Dolls, ABC's spin-off of Who's the Boss that tried to launch Leah Remini and Halle Berry to stardom 5 years before they actually became famous. The show premiered in September of 1990 and followed a group of teenage models living in a modeling agency owner's home. It was supposed to be a fun, lighthearted look at the modeling world with positive messages about self-esteem and friendship. Instead, it was a tone-deaf mess that insulted everyone's intelligence. The premise had potential. 4 aspiring models with different backgrounds and personalities navigating the industry while dealing with typical teenage problems. Throw in some comedy about fashion and beauty standards, and you could have something interesting. What we got was shallow plotting, one-dimensional characters, and storylines that treated modeling like it was rocket science. Leah Remini and Halle Berry showed flashes of the stars they'd become, but they were working with material that would have defeated Meryl Streep. The scripts were paint-by-numbers teen sitcom stuff. The modeling world was portrayed as both glamorous and accessible, which is neither realistic nor interesting. And the character of the modeling agency owner, played by Michael Learned, felt like a reject from The Facts of Life. ABC scheduled Living Dolls on Saturday nights, the graveyard for shows the network had given up on. The ratings were terrible. Critics mocked it. By December, after 12 episodes, ABC canceled Living Dolls. The show is remembered, if at all, as a footnote in Halle Berry's journey to becoming an Oscar winner and Leah Remini's path to the King of Queens. It's another example of spin-offs that never understood what made the parent show work. Who's the Boss succeeded because of Tony Danza and Judith Light's chemistry and sharp writing. Living Dolls had neither of those things. Number 2, Get a Life.
With this kid, he didn't see us. Let's go this way, Larry.
Number 2 brings us Get a Life, and this one is different from everything else on this list because it was actually good. Chris Elliott's surreal comedy about a 30-year-old paperboy living with his parents premiered on Fox in September of 1990 and was too weird, too ahead of its time, and too uncompromising for mainstream audiences. The show was bizarre in the best way. Chris Peterson, played by Elliott, was an overgrown child who delivered newspapers, lived in his childhood bedroom, and had adventures that ranged from mundane to completely insane. Episodes featured Chris being eaten by a giant sea monster, getting kidnapped by aliens, and dying repeatedly only to return the next week with no explanation. It was Adult Swim before Adult Swim existed. David Merkin and Adam Resnick created Get a Life with a specific vision. Make the most uncompromising, weird comedy possible. And don't worry about whether people got it. Fox, to their credit, let them do it. The network didn't interfere much, which was both a blessing and a curse. The show developed a cult following, people who understood that it was satirizing sitcom conventions and suburban life. But that cult following was small. Critics were divided. Some called it genius. Others called it unwatchable. Ratings were consistently poor. Fox moved it around the schedule, trying to find an audience. Eventually, they canceled it after 2 seasons, though the show had actually filmed more episodes. Get a Life disappeared, but it never died. Over the years, it gained a reputation as a misunderstood masterpiece. Comedians and TV writers cite it as an influence. It's been released on DVD. People discover it and fall in love with its weirdness. Chris Elliott continued acting and writing, and Get a Life became one of those shows that failed in its time but succeeded in history. It's on this list not because it was bad, but because it was too good for 1990. Number 1, Homeroom.
Handle it well.
Thank you.
And finally, at number 1, we have Homeroom, ABC's attempt to create a hip, relevant high school drama that could speak to teens in 1990. The show premiered in September and was dead by October. That's how bad it was. Even by the standards of this list, Homeroom stands out as a spectacular disaster. The premise was standard teen drama fare. a group of high school students dealing with peer pressure, romance, family problems, and identity issues. ABC wanted to compete with Beverly Hills 90210, which would premiere on Fox just 1 month later and become a phenomenon. They thought Homeroom could be their answer. They were catastrophically wrong. Everything about Homeroom was off. The cast, filled with unknowns who stayed unknown, had zero charisma. The scripts were after-school special quality, preachy and obvious. The issues tackled were serious pregnancy, drug abuse, eating disorders, but handled with all the subtlety of a sledgehammer. And the show looked cheap. Really cheap. Like someone's high school video project cheap. ABC must have known they had a problem because they barely promoted Homeroom. It premiered with little fanfare, got terrible ratings, and was canceled after 5 episodes. Only 4 episodes actually aired. The network pulled the plug so fast you'd think the show was cursed. In a way, it was cursed by bad writing, bad acting, bad production values, and bad timing. What makes Homeroom the biggest flop of 1990 isn't just that it failed. Lots of shows fail. It's that it failed completely. No cult following emerged. No one defended it. Critics didn't even bother reviewing it after the pilot. It vanished so thoroughly that finding information about it today is genuinely difficult. The cast disappeared into obscurity. The creators never spoke about it. ABC pretended it never happened. Homeroom represents the absolute bottom of network television, a show greenlit without vision, produced without care, and canceled without mercy. It's the ultimate flop, the show that even lists of forgotten shows forget to mention. And that's why it deserves the #1 spot. So there you have it. 15 shows from 1990 that crashed and burned, taking careers, budgets, and executive egos down with them.